Good morning, chat. My name is Penbu, in the programming, puzzle gaming, and music making VTuber on Linux, and today we are bringing back the curse coding series. On average, I think we've had one entry in the series per year, so this is this year's entry. I do want to do more of these, but coming up with ideas is it's not easy. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. There is a storm around here, so I hope the power doesn't come out. I hope the power doesn't. What am I saying? Doesn't drop. Whatever. Cut out is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, if it does, then we'll get to see my transition for automatic. If my UPS kicks in. I have it set so that it'll automatically go to the intermission scene. So there's that, at least, if it does happen. But let's hope not. Anyway, today we're going to be doing something from nothing. If you were here for Object Horror a couple years ago, this is going to seem very familiar because the object is roughly the same. So in Object Horror, we only were able to use the object constructor, but here we're not able to use anything at all. So, the challenge rules here, and I think I might actually be missing a rule. So, first off is no non-derived values are allowed, so we can't use any literals, so numbers, objects, arrays, nulls, undefined, things like that. Default global objects, so the various constructors, the various global objects like math. Can't use this, can't use globalThis, can't use window. Not that window would work in Node anyway. And then functions, so things like eval and parseInt, we can't use those. And that also includes functions and classes declared using function statements. And function, the statements and expressions. So can't do function name and then some function body. You'd have to do something else. However, we can still use those if we manage to derive them from something else. So we can save those to variables, and we can reference variables as normal. We just can't use the values that are built in directly. And then any constructor operator may be used for deriving values except for static property access. We can't do object.prop because this here is a name. And in particular, dynamic property access, so accessing it through the square brackets, is explicitly allowed. Otherwise, we won't be able to do anything. So I figured usually for these ones we do hello world and then we do FizzBuzz. I think for Object Horror, we didn't end up doing FizzBuzz, so hopefully we can get to it this time around. But we're going to start with Hello World first. If you recall, that's not this one. This is Object Horror. This is what it ended up looking like. We're going to end up doing something similar. We're going to try not to reference this, because it is going to be a lot of the same thing. But alright, here we go. So how do we start with nothing? In JavaScript, by the way, before I start, if any of you are confused by anything, feel free to shout it out in chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions, because this thing can be confusing, especially the deeper we get into it. So how do we get any sort of value out of here if we can't make any values? One thing we can do is exploit the property of JavaScript variables, because we are allowed to make variables here. And the variables, if they are declared but not initialized, they get initialized to undefined. So we can start with let nothing, and nothing will now have undefined. I'm going to pull up Node here just so we can see it. So we have let nothing, and nothing is now undefined, right? So this gets us a start. And from undefined, we can get... What did I call this thing? I can't call it true. Bool true, okay. Bool true is equal to nothing, because we are allowed to use operators. And const bool false is equal to not. You know what? I'm going to say true and false like this, C style, just to make it a little bit shorter. And we can do true, false. We can get false from not true. So undefined being negated gets coerced to a Boolean. I'll show you that in the node here. So undefined being coerced to a Boolean is false, and then negating false results in true. We get that. And then if you negate that again, you get false. So now we have this. And then we can get some numbers. We can get const n0 is equal to plus nothing. So the plus will coerce undefined to a number. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's on NaN. Plus false will coerce false to a 0. Yes, okay. I'll probably put that down here, actually. So we can get 0 from here. And we get 1 from plus true. And then from here we can derive a bunch of other things. So 2, I don't know what we'll need here. From here we have, oh no, don't do that. N1 plus N1. And this is N2, so that's 2. And then we can continue on like that. I don't know what we'll need, so we'll lay off on the numbers for now. So what do we want? We need to get, we eventually need to get console.log hello world, like that. So we need to get some sort of strings in here. There is the type of operator. The const string undefined is equal to type of nothing. So type of undefined is undefined. That gets us a bunch of letters that we might be able to use. String is type of string undefined. That gets us the word string, like so. And then we can get string number from type of n0. That's number there. And we can also get string Boolean from type of true. We get Boolean. So this gets us our L, or hello world. No, we get the R from number for the hello world there. We get E from either Boolean or undefined here, it doesn't really matter. But we do have to come up with a couple more things here. So string undefined, string number, string Boolean, and we are going to need 0, 1, 2, 3. 3, so we're going to need at least 3 to get to the L there. So we're going to need N3. Then we're going to need N4 to get the E here. If we're grabbing the strings from this. So we have E, we have L, we can get O from Boolean as well. Boolean seems to be very useful here. Do we have a D? Yes, we do. We get a D from undefined, so that's fine. So const E is equal to str Boolean, and we can do property access because strings are indexed by number. So this is going to be N 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, no, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be N4. I guess we're going to need N4. Const L, that's going to be N3, the Boolean, and then what else are we missing here? We need D. That we get from undefined, and that's going to be 0, 1, 2. That's N2 there. And we need an O. Const O is equal string Boolean, and that's going to be N1. Okay. So this has so far proven to be useful. Yeah, don't worry about that. Ale disable buffer. I don't need it to yell at me. we're gonna do that. Okay, so then we also need console.logs. We need to get these. Do we have an N? Yes, we have an N. We're gonna grab that from string number. Or actually, yeah, we're gonna grab that from string number because it's right there at the beginning. Or no, we'll get it from undefined because we already have undefined. N doesn't have a border. Stir undefined at N1. Do we have a C anywhere? We don't have a C. Okay, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get a C. Do we have a G? Yes, we have a G. We can get that from string. The const G is equal to string at N 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have a 5 yet. We can make 5. So that's console.log, log we already have. We have E, we have O, we need an S. We can get from that. We can get that from string. Const S is equal to stir string at 0 and 0. We need a C. We need a C somewhere. What do we have right now? We have booleans, we have numbers, we have strings, and all of these are strings. We're also going to need the comma, we need a dot, we also need parentheses and either double quotes or single quotes, it doesn't matter, whichever one's going to be easier to get. Now, do we have a B? Yes, we have a B, we have an A, we have a T, and we have an O. So we actually can do, there's this function called B2A, or A to B, that can take in a string and output some base 64. No, actually we want B2A. And we can get that. We can get base 64. So we can generate a bunch of extra letters this way. The const B2A is equal to B plus well, actually we don't have B yet. We can get B from const B is equal to stir boolean at N0 because it's the first letter. We need an A from stir boolean at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. So it turns out we need all these anyway. That's good. So now we have B2A. just gonna console log just to make sure that we have this. So node something from nothing node hello world.js. T is not defined. Okay, we don't have a T yet. Const T is equal to string at n1. Fairly easy. We're gonna do that again. And we have B to A there, very good. So that gets us B to A, but it doesn't give us a way to call this thing yet. We do need the parentheses. We need a dot, and we need... Okay, yeah, we need to find a way to get a dot, and we need to find a way to get parentheses. In the object case, it was easy because we had a constructor, which is a function, and you can just turn that into a string. But we don't have that here. I'm sure this is possible. I just got to figure out how to do that. So we have a string. We can do all sorts of things with strings. We can call strings. No, we can't. No, we can't. We can't call strings. B2A is not a function. Yeah, because it's a string. You can't call strings like that. You can do... constructor. That gets us a function. Okay. We need to get the rest of the letters here. I think we have C-O-N. We don't have C. Where's the C? Ooh, that's a bit of a problem. We don't have a C. We need to find a way to get a C. We have everything else from constructor except for C. Because we have a U, stir, undefined, at n0. And we have an R. N-O-R, const R is equal to string at n2. Right, that's everything except for... Oh. No, tracking point just lost. Okay. We're back. We need a C. And actually, if we get a C, we can do console.log. Well, we can get console. That's the only thing that's missing here. We don't need the dot necessarily. Because we can use the bracket notation to do log, because we have log here as well. Okay, where can we get a C? Does instance of give us anything? Instance of. Unexpected token instance of. But it's a thing. It's a thing you can do. A is equal to a function a. What do I mean unexpected token? MDN instance of. Let's figure out how to use this. Because I swear that oh that's why. On object. It's not callable. Function. Oh, that's actually a little bit problematic. So that's not going to do us anything because that returns a boolean. Can we use null anywhere? Can we get null somehow? Can we get an object anywhere? We don't have a J. We also can't eval anyway because we don't have that yet. Remainder, we have the spread syntax. We have the spread syntax, hold on. No, that's not going to do anything. We have super, which we can't use. We have type of. We have void. And void gets us undefined, so that doesn't actually help. We already have undefined, this is nothing. We have B2A, but no way of calling it at the moment. Oh, actually, hold on. Kind of. Can we access the global object somehow? Because what you can do is, if you can find some way to have property access, you can find some way to get the global object, then you have a way to call global functions. So how do we get the global object? The global object would be globalThis. However, we can't use globalThis. We need to find a way to... We need to find a way to find access to that. Because we can't just say globalThis, because otherwise it's too easy. Yeah, I did expect this to be harder than the object case, but I didn't expect it to be this much harder. Because in the object case, yeah, we had a function. We don't have a function here. We have 3 types. Hold on, are there any other types that we haven't used? Built-in objects. And globalThis, we have infinity, we have nan. So infinity, I think, is a number. Nan is also a number if we use type of. We have undefined. The Boolean function symbol. I don't think we're going to get any symbols, but we also don't need to. Type of infinity is a number. Infinity plus, when we turn that into a string, we get infinity, like that. Ooh, okay. That gets us a capital I. We can get undefined. So we can get infinity by just making a really, really large number. But where does that get us? Because I don't think that gets us anything we don't already have. It gets us a Y and it gets us a capital I. It gets us an I. We already have that from string. And that gets us an F, which might be useful for function. But we have no way to eval anything. There is something I want to check though. Because this has to eval something. Oh. No, but this is able to do stuff because it has access to it has access to an array literal, which we do not have. So this has access to things like this has access to a single value, and like the object case, if you have access to a single value like this is easy. We have access to a single value. It's just We gotta figure out what to do with it. Okay, well, we may as well generate infinity and see what we get here. Because maybe y might actually be useful. So 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. It's faster than I expected. Alright. But again, I don't know if we need that. Because what does that give us? It gets us a y and gets us an I. And it gets us an f. We already have enough from undefined. This might not actually be useful. We can get null. Can we get null? If we can get a p, we can get to prototype. If we can get p, we can get to prototype, and then we can get to null that way. I don't think we need a null though. And the reason for that is we have an object. We have the under proto that ends up with another object, which you can continue chaining proto for, and then that gets to null if you go all the way down. However, this is also a function. No, this is not a function. This is an object. But we also don't have any underscores. So unless you are able to get object or get prototype of, you're not going to be able to get that. So we can get... Can we get a P anywhere? Can we at least try to get a P somewhere? Let's get a boolean from here. We can get a string from there. We don't... Well, that's fine though. Because we have a string, we can make we can coerce other strings fairly easily. We can coerce these to strings fairly easily if we need to. But we also, I don't think we need to. S equals 5. I don't think you can do S++ and get. Yeah, that turns it into a number. So we can't go up and down the ASCII table just by incrementing and decrementing. That's not going to work. We can get NaN fairly easily, and we can turn that into a string, but also I don't think we need any capital N's anywhere. We do need a C. We can get a C if we can get a function. But to get a function, we need to get to a constructor. Unless string. Give me a string. There are standard methods on string that we might be able to get. We have at. Okay, so now we have a function. Const stir at func string at is going to be any string that we have up there. Stir string, and we are going to do a plus t. That gets us the function. So now we have a function, which is good because then we can do const constr function is equal to type of func string at. Now that gets us function, and we can do const c. And I might want to consider. Oh no, we need to put that there because we do need the at there. Const c is equal to str function at n 0, 1, 2, 3. And 3, so now we have a 3, or now we have a C, which means we can do console. And not that. So stir console like that. May as well collapse these just to save space. And we can get log by log, which we already have. So that's fine. Now the trouble is, how do we get to this? How do we access console from anything? We have eval. We don't have eval. We cannot spell eval. Hold up. Filter constructor. Constructor. Right, because you can get a function out of that. So you can get a function out of this. So that's a function. So we have a filter. Or sorry, we have a function. Now we can get the constructor. Because now we have this. The const func eval is equal to what's it? Func string at. So it's not strictly speaking an eval. It's the function constructor that we're getting out of here. So from here we can do constructor like this. I think we have all the letters for it. Just gonna double check here. So C, because we just made that. We have O, we have N, S, T, R, U. We got T, or C again, and T, O, R. Yeah, so we have all the letters for constructor, which means we can call it. So because we now have a function, we can now call it. And now that gives us a B2A func console log is equal to function stir console console plus. Ooh, we need square brackets. Actually, we don't need square brackets. I can just take stir console. So I can get func console out of this. I can call that. So now that we have console, we can get any we can get any global object, global value from this now. I'm just gonna make sure that we actually do get console here. Console.log debug func console. Undefined. That's not good. I need a return. Which I think we do have all the letters for. We don't have a space. We need a space, which we're gonna need to do for. We're gonna need one for Hello World anyway. But we need a space. Well, this is a little bit problematic. We'll run into another wall here. You are able to get stuff by doing this. NaN at right, because you can turn objects into you can turn functions into so if we do say nodes and then we have an object, or say we have an object, and we turn that into a string, we have object. We can get a space from that. Or we have a function. Oh, okay, actually that's very good. Because now we have, if we turn that into a function or into a string, then we get all of these letters and we get the braces that, or the parentheses that we need. So this is actually very useful. So we have type of function string at, if we have func string at, we can get these, we can get these, we can get the whole function out of there. Or we can just get function. We do have that. Because that does give us a capital F. Yep, okay. So stir func function is going to be function plus any string that we have there. Stir string was fine. And then we can get const stir lparen equal to stir function. It's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, let's get the space first. Const sp. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stir function at n8, which we don't have an n8. I don't think we need this anymore. Const n8 is equal to n5 plus n3. And then the L paren is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And we don't have a 17 yet. It's going to be n8 plus n8 plus n1. So that's 16 plus 1. So now that we have a space, we can get return plus sp plus we're going to do rsp and carl paren. Or we don't do that. So this is going to be n17. We're going to need to close as well. R paren is going to be n18, which is going to be 17 plus 1. And then just to make sure that we do have all of these correct, sp, L paren, R paren, just make sure that we do have it. Aha! And we do return the console. And we do return the space and the parentheses. Okay, this is working out pretty nicely. Now that we have a console, we could actually technically just fit everything in here. I don't know if we need the parentheses. Because what we can do is we do func console and we do log like that. So now we can have this and we can call it, and now we just put stuff in there. Do we have a capital H anywhere? And we don't have a comma anywhere. Do we have any sort of arrays that we can get? Because if we can have, we have an array that we can push to, then as long as we get 2 elements, we can get a comma. Object.interest has 1. We do object.entries, except we don't have a capital O. I think we can get a capital O pretty easily, because we can turn an object into a string and get a capital O that way. Yeah, this is pretty easy to do, because then we can get a comma that way. Now what, do we have a K? Do we have a K? Do we have an object.keys? Do we have a K? We might not have a K. Do we have a V? I think we have everything we need for entries though, so we might be able to just do that. E, N, T, R. We can get an I pretty easily. That comes from string. That's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. And 3. We're going to make entries this time. We're going to get a capital O from stir function string at stir object is equal to some sort of object that we have here. Do I actually have one, actually? Do I have an object anywhere? I don't have an object anywhere. Hold up. Can we get a capital U anywhere? Because we can do two upper. Oh, we don't have a P. We don't have a P. We can't do proto. We have a space. We have a left parenthesis, right parenthesis. We have brackets if we need it. We have braces if we need it. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on. If we have braces, then we have an object. Const L brace is equal to stir function plus this. And this is just going to make it easier to see. So we have brace at 20, function n20, which we don't have yet, and then const r brace is equal to stir function at n21. Now we need to make 20 and 21. 20 is going to be 18 plus 2. And then 21 is going to be 21 plus 3, or plus 1. 20 plus 1. So function that. So const object is equal to function stir return plus sp plus L brace R brace. That should give us an object. Console.log debug object. I don't think we need this one anymore. Unexpected. What's that? Syntax error, unexpected token. Where is this? 55. Const object is equal to function L brace R brace. Am I missing something? Do I need to put these in parentheses? Because I probably do. I shouldn't need to. Return takes an expression. If you have an expression with the braces, you should have that. Unless I don't have N21. It's entirely possible. Yeah, so I don't need this. Oh, because it's not 21. That's right. It's not 21, it's 36. 21 is a space. 36 is N20, it's N10, which we don't have. 6 times 6, we also don't have 6, but that's pretty easy to get. N5 plus N1, N6 times N6. And this is N6, 36. Okay, this is promising. We do have an object here now. And from here we can get I don't remember where we're getting from here. But we have an object now. From the object we can get the constructor, the object constructor. We can get a capital O. I don't know what we need that for though. But we can also get the object constructor just by, oh no, actually we can't. We can't get the object constructor just by putting in it because we don't have a capital O. Okay, I think we were looking at doing object like this. I don't remember what we needed this for. So from here we can get the object constructor. But we can also get a bunch of other stuff. We still don't have a P. So we can't do prototype. Oh, right, we're doing an array. We can get an array. Because we were going to do object.entries, but we have the ability to just do an array. I think. Because we have brackets here. And we can get that from 22, which we don't have. We can get that pretty easily. R brackets at 34, which we also don't have, but we can get that pretty easily. So 22 is 20 plus N2, 34. And 6 plus 5, or times 5 plus N4. There is a problem with this though. We can create an array. We don't have a comma. We were trying to get a comma. We can get an array of 1. We can get an array of 1 or 0 items. But we need an array of 2 items. We can use the push function. We can use unshift. We don't have an H anywhere. Okay, well actually the other thing that we're trying to get was object. We're trying to get the capital O here. So now we have all the letters for object. We can do object dot entries, which is what we're trying to get, so that we can get we can turn it into a string. We can turn a string into an array, or into a bunch of entries, so we can get a comma out of it. Right, so basically what we're doing here, we have a string, we do object on entries on it, we get an array out, and then we turn that into a string, so we can get commas. Is there an easier way? We can do an object.entries directly. We can get object, actually. Hold on. We can get the object constructor. Const func object by doing object constructor, I'm going to want to turn this into a string, const stir constructor, because we're going to need that. Func object constructor, stir constructor. So this gets us the object constructor, the object, the capital O object. And from there we have func object entry, stir, or entries. I believe we have all of everything. So we can then call that on any string that has more than two letters. I don't think we actually have an. Oh, we do have an A. That's fine. So const comma is equal to this. And then we want to get the N1 out of it. So now we have a comma, which gets us hello, hello world here. We're still missing a few characters. Hello plus comma plus SP R L D. I think we have an L. Yeah, we have an L. We're missing a capital H, and we are missing a capital W. I think string has some key codes you can do. Our code at returns a new string consisting of single UTF-8 at the given index. We don't need that. code point at, which is also not what we want. Car code at, which is not what we want. We need a way to convert numbers into characters. From car code, do we have a capital C? Returns a string created from the specified sequence of UTF-16 code units. So we have B2A, we could do that, or we could try this, assuming that we have a capital C, because I think we have all the other from code point. No, we don't have a capital P either. We need a capital C. We can B2A. That feels a little bit like cheating. It felt a bit cheating when we did it here. Yeah, because you got B2A here. And we do have this. Like we could just reuse that, but probably best we don't. There is also two uppercase, but we need a capital C for that. Which again we don't have. Can we make a class? Can we make a class? I think we can. Type of class is a function, right? Because classes are syntactic sugar for constructor functions. So they don't actually exist. Class anonymous. You know, that actually does kind of make sense. But we do need a capital C, not that. If we get a... If we have a capital A, we can do car, or... No, we can't. Never mind. I'm gonna say we can get one of these and turn it into a... We turn it into number, then we can do number manipulation, or code point manipulation on that, but we can't. B, C... Because we could do this. I think I'd rather not. J. I don't think we have a J. We don't have a K either. Now we can get an H from here. But again, B2A feels a little bit like cheating. So we have this, we have that. But maybe that is the only way we can do it. We abuse B2A, because we don't have from car code unless we can get we got an H because we got it from car code, which we needed a capital C for, which we got from this, which we then, because we got B2A, we did that. Is there a way we can avoid B to A? Because if we can do that, it would feel like less cheaty. Because it felt like it was a little bit too powerful. So this exists. We don't have splits. We don't have a P. Not small, strike, sup. So don't have this. We have trim. To be able to use any of these, we would have to actually be able to spell that, but then at that point it doesn't make sense to do anything with that. Okay. So let's start from the top again. So we have undefined. We have true, we have false. We have the booleans, we have a bunch of numbers. We get arbitrary many numbers as much as we need. We have a couple of strings, undefined string, number, and boolean, which we can get these letters out of. We have a function, and then we get a string out of. And then we get a C out of that because we get it out of function. And get an F out of that if we need to as well. From the C we can get a constructor, which then gives us the basic constructors, so string, object, array. I think we can get an array. Yeah, we should be able to get an array. String, object, array. So hold on, let's get that. String, object, array, number. So these capital letters there. We can get errors. We have number, big int, which we can't actually do because we just have to add an n to the end, but I don't think we need this. We can get a capital B out of that though. We have dates, which I don't think we have access to. We have regular expressions. We have, I don't think we can generate one of these. We have JSON. Well, we don't have a capital J, so that's we can't do that. Iterator. I think we can generate an iterator from something. Do we have anything that generates promises? Because then we can get a capital P out of that. We can generate an async function if we can get the letters for it. An async function returns a promise. Because we have all of these letters. We might be able to get a Y from something. But we can get an async function. I don't know what we would do with this. Other than call it and get a prototype, or get a promise back and get a capital P. Type of object is still that. But we can do object promise, we can get that. Constructor function, async function, we can get that. Let's get capital A. Can we get a weak rep? Because that's a W. I don't think we have anything that generates weak reps though. Do string tag. Yeah, capital I from infinity. Reflect, we have proxy until. Yeah, the only W that we can get here is from weak rep, but I don't think anything actually outputs these. However, object.entries, the globalThis gets us a whole ton of stuff. I don't think we can rely on the I don't think we can rely on the order of these, though. We might be better off just using B to A. It doesn't exist here. Do we have this? Do we have an H? Can we get an H? I think we need an H from here. Yeah, we need an H from B to A. So we actually can't get this without H. Weak sets. Map with a capital M, which I don't think we have. We definitely can't get math without a capital M. We can get an error object by throwing. Well, that would have been easier, now wouldn't it? Try nothing. Try throw. Catch. We're not allowed to do that. Are we? I feel like I was going to put in a thing where it says we can't do parameters. I didn't actually write that into the rules, but that was the idea, that we weren't allowed to use parameters. Because then otherwise you can just give names to things. Oh, you already could though. You already could with variables. Now, I know there's a syntax error. I'm trying to catch the thing. S is not defined. It is a reference error, yes. That's the point. Invalid left-hand side in assignments. So then S gets us the reference error. Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to use... I mean, okay, hold on. I made up the rules so I can do whatever I want, but in the spirit of the one of what I was trying to do, I don't know if this is allowed. Oh, it's probably fine. Type of S is an object. S plus that reference error S is not defined. And we have a capital R, we can get a capital E. None of which is useful for us. S is just undefined there, which is not useful. We can get a reference error, and from there we can do... We're going to just get an eval error too. It's a serializable object, so we can be cloned with that subclass of error. Prototype.name, that's fine. I don't think we're allowed to rely on that. Alright, we're gonna have to give up and just use B to A. So I did have B to A in here, expecting to use it. I got rid of it now. But I would like to try to get an H without that. Slow parseInt, decode URI, decode escape, unescape. Aggregate error, eval error, range error, suppress syntax, type URI, internal, number, begins, math, date. We could get a math object. I don't think anything produces a math object though. Otherwise, we could have used this. String, regular expression. I don't think we have the characters to create a regular expression. But also, I don't think there's anything we can use here. Wait a minute, hold on. We can get... Where is string? Or object, actually. Is there any object here with an H? It's frozen keys. It's a prototype object. I think string has something, surely. String, I think, has a method with an H in it somewhere. Anchor. Technically. I would rather not use the deprecated ones, but they're probably going to be around. Match has it. Starts with has an S, or it has a W. So what I'm thinking is, we can do object.entries, because we have that. If we can somehow get the prototype, no. Are you sure? The constructor.prototype. What do you mean there's nothing in the prototype? Hold up, that doesn't make any sense. Are these all non-enumerable? That you know what, that actually I guess that would actually make sense. Object.entries only goes through the enumerable entries. The enumerable keys rather. The own enumerable keys. ForIn does a prototype chain, but it's also only enumerable entries. Okay, so that's not going to work. I thought we could get a list of built-in keys that way, but we can't do that. Because otherwise, we can do something like starts with. We got a set. Can we do something with a set? Because we have an E, we have a T, and we have a capital S if we need it. Symbol.iterator. Mr. E, welcome in. What are we making? We were trying to do Hello World, but the only thing we can start off with is literally nothing. So we are deriving everything that we can. We are stuck at trying to create an H, a string with just a single H character in it. If you were here, you might have been here for the object horror thing that we did a couple of years ago. And we did this. I'm trying not to reference it. I'm trying not to reference it too much, but it turns out we got an H last time by using B2A, which feels a little bit like cheating. And I felt like it felt a little bit like cheating last time, so I'm trying to see if we have another way of doing it instead. But if we need to, I guess we can. However, we do also just have this. Which, what in the world is this? 101 plus 2 string? 21? What is this? String 21 4H. What does that mean? I feel like this is almost as bad as B2A. string.prototype.toString. This takes in this string object overrides the toString method if object does not inherits toString. For string values, the toString method returns the string itself if it's a primitive, or the string that the string object wraps. It has the exact same implementation as value of. ToString requires is this to be a string primitive or wrapper object, or is a type error for other this values without attempting to force them. That's fine. The string doesn't have a two primitive methods. JavaScript calls the toString method automatically, which is fine. Template literal. This feels undocumented, and I feel like that shouldn't be a thing that we use. Because we can't just do that. What does this mean? Oh no, it's a number.toString. Which I think does take a radix. Yeah, it takes an optional radix. Okay, we can do that. It's better than B2A, which seems a little bit arbitrary. I'm a little bit more okay with doing this. So we can get 101 by doing... We have 10. We don't have 10. N5 plus N5. 101 is N10 times N10. So I guess it's just 100 plus N1 gets us to 101. And so we can get an H if we find a way to get toString. Where is my func string? String.constructor. So I have a constructor there, so I can do const func string is equal to stir string stir constructor, and then I can do const s. Do I have a G anywhere? Yeah, it shouldn't matter actually, because I do have string. I have everything that's in string. Just not the capital S. So fuzz, what is this? String turn into a string is this. Then we have object.entries string this, so we have to make it easy for ourselves. Then we grab the capital S. That's gonna be at 9. So func string plus stir string at N9 gets us the capital S. And then we can do const h is equal to n101 dot or to string, which I think we have everything there. Yeah. To string at 21. I think we also have 21. We do not have 21. 20 plus that. And then N1 for that one. Alright, well I feel like we've cheated a little bit. But it is a thing that we can do now. We now have an H. And I don't remember why we were getting this. But the H is useful. We do need a capital H there and a capital W there. So you can't get a W too easily. You can't get capital H too easily. We will have to figure out something in that case. Do we have two uppercase? Do we have capital U? We do not have a capital U. We can get a capital U. Thirty-six is yes, it's 26 plus the 10. So we can actually only get lowercase numbers from these. But that's what base 64 is, sort of. Maybe we do have to get base 64. How did you get a date? How did you get a capital D? Yeah, I don't know how this gets a date. Because, oh, you can get a capital D from this. Return escape. Escape. What's escape? Well, what does this do? How do you get a D from that? No. So there's this deprecated function called escape. Which technically exists, but you are supposed to just call URI, encode URI component, encode URI. Very old function, which is why it's still around. Oh, I kind of don't want to deal with that. Maybe we do just use B2A. But at least we got the H from something, and I don't remember what we needed this for. Because we need a capital H, we don't need a lowercase h. But we do need a capital U from something. However, this does allow us to get we do have from car code, and once we get that, we can make any function or make any character that we want. But we don't have capital C. We do have an H now. We don't have some of these letters either, but I think that should be easy to get. We have an object, we have an array, we have a comma, we got from here. We need an exclamation mark. What does it do? I'm assuming you're talking about escape. So what this does is if you recall in the URL, in URLs, there are certain URL characters that that aren't allowed in URLs, and you have to escape them using the percent escapes. So this is an escape plus the ASCII hex code for it. Sorry, yeah, percent and the ASCII hex code. But I kind of don't want to use it because it's deprecated. So it technically exists for compatibility, but you aren't supposed to use it in your code. I could just give up and use B2A, but B2A is requires a lot of, like, I don't even remember how we got this. I think it was just trial and error, which is why it feels like cheating. Like, we somehow managed to get objects. Right, we get a C out of that because it just happens to work. But I'm thinking we might just have to. I don't remember where we needed the H from, or where we got the H from, or what we needed it for. But I guess it would have been from this. Where do we get M from? From number, right? Because we get type of number. We can get the M from number. I think we might need that anyway. Const M is equal to number 0, 1, 2. Okay, I'm reluctantly doing this. Const func b2a is equal to function return plus sp plus b2a. Now we have b2a. We can call that on the object. Const b2a obj is equal to b2a on the object. None of this, which whatever this does, object.entries. We can get a capital C out of that. Const C is equal to b2a obj at 9. N9, because we can't use literals. So from there, we can do. Do we have all the letters now? We have D, we have an O, we need an F, and I think we got an F from somewhere. We can get that from function, which we have now. FR, OM, capital C we got an H as well, AR, capital C, ODE. We now have enough from card code. So now we can do const func from barcode is equal to func string, which I think we have. Should already have this from something. Yes. At FROMCACHARCODE. And then now we can get func to car code. Hello. Car code at 0. It's going to be 72. We're going to need a 72 somewhere. Should be easy enough. 72 is 36 twice. Convenience. And 72. So now we get an H. And then we need a W. Const W is equal to now we're getting all these things from all sorts of places. But once you have from car code, you can pretty much make any character they want. So some of these are actually, like the comma is kind of redundant, so we actually don't need that. But what's the fun in doing that? So the W is 87. We can get 87 from doing N72 are N10 times N8 plus N7, because I think we should have all those. We don't have N7, but we can make that. And 6 plus 1. And then we get the exclamation mark from func barcode and 33. We have a 33. We have 34. Hello world, I think we might have everything that we need. So H, capital W, plus exclamation. Alright, moment of truth. Syntax error, identifier int20 has already been declared. Because this is supposed to be int21. And 34 has already been declared. And so is this, to be honest. This is 87. This is N30, 33. Missing after argument list. So I'm missing not one of those, I need one of these. Keep going. N9 is not defined. Or just make that. That's easy. No, we're very close. Why? What are we missing? Oh, okay, all right. Where did I define this? This is object.entries. I think I need this to be n0 and then n1. No, I need this to be a string, that's why. There we go. We get a comment from that. And then with that, yeah, that is enough to get a hello world. I think we can call ourselves done. I still would like to not have B2A here. But at least we're only using it once, I guess. It feels a little bit like cheating to get everything from car codes. But if we got everything from B2A here and then we end up doing this. Yeah, we end up getting a comma from here instead. But yeah, once you unlock the from car code, everything is pretty easy. Yeah, that's a lot of code for hello world, yeah. That's what happens when you're trying to derive things from effectively nothing. We can go ahead and commit that now. And then I think we have time for FizzBuzz. We didn't get to that last time. So now we can maybe try here. Something. We're gonna make a branch here so we can just. From nothing, add hello. Add hello world, okay. Now we're gonna try FizzBuzz. And I think that I wanted to do was to allow us to do function FizzBuzz. But we can't take any arguments. So the challenge here is how do you get this 20 out? Because this is what I wanted from this. It would be easy to generate another 20 and just have that in a loop. But it's going to be an extra challenge to get this out of here. Because what we need, there is a special variable called arguments that just exists inside of a function. And I think you can do eval arguments. Console.log eval arguments. I think you should be able to do this. And you should be able to get an array out of this. So the challenge will then be, how do you get arguments? Which shouldn't be too hard since we already had a bunch of the stuff there. Okay, so you can just do that. Very good. So, let nothing to start off with, so we get undefined. We can more or less copy what we have here. because we already did most of the work here. I don't know if we need true and false. So I think we at least need... No, this is fine. So I know we definitely need 5, and we definitely need 3, because FizzBuzz... If you recall, FizzBuzz is printing out the numbers, but every time you have a multiple of 3, you have to replace it with Fizz. Every time you have a multiple of 5, replace it with Buzz. And if you have a multiple of 15, which is both 3 and 5, you replace it with FizzBuzz. So we can get an eval argument. So we know how to get an eval. We can get an eval by doing all sorts of stuff here. So we do this. Same as before. This is why this is going to be a little bit faster. We do that. Then we can get a function out of it. And then we can get C and F out of it, and we can get the constructor out of it. And then we get a function, and this is our eval. From here, we just need a way to get return. Do I? I don't think I do. I don't think I need a return. No, I do, because I need it inside of a function. So I do need the return. This is actually a little bit problematic now, isn't it? I don't have eval as a function. I don't have a v. I need a v somewhere. Because I have a function that has a function body. Okay, so eval is a function. So if eval is a function, we can get eval with a v as long as we can find a v somewhere. Which we know how to do because we can get this. Where is it? Well, we can at least get string return. RETEURN. Okay, so we can do that. So we can return an eval if we can find a v somewhere. Problem is finding a v. Where do we get v from? Right. So we can get a v from the if we can get a not two-card code. Where do we get the h? Lowercase h. We can get this. But we need a capital S. Can we get a capital S from string constructor? Going to be down here. And get an H from this. So 101. Why would you do that? If you can just do base 36. Then you can just do the number, hold on. So H is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 10, so you need 17. I think it's 16 actually. 15, 16, 17, no, 17. 17. So A is 10. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's no 16. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. At N36. I have N16. I do not have N16. And 10 and 8 plus an 8, that's fine. Read declaration is not allowed. Sure. Ale disable buffer. So we can get a const v is equal to n $30, $33, 2, 1, 31, 31 const to stir to string is equal to this. Nope, don't do that. Stir to string. Stir to string. N36 N and 0. I don't even need this anymore because I only have the 1. Okay, so that gets us an H and a V and literally any other lowercase letter that we need. The only trouble is getting the uppercase. But we have an eval. But now, because now that we have an eval, const func eval is equal to func function, and this is important because we need a we need to get a raw eval, because if we do arguments inside of a function eval, because what function does is we do function and then some sort of code inside here. This code is actually the inside of a function body, so this gets wrapped. So if we do say return s or return 1 or something, that gets expanded out into function return 1, like that, which we don't want, because if we do return arguments, then this arguments refers to the arguments of this function, which is not what we want. We actually need to return eval, so then we can do eval arguments in this scope. And I'm hoping this works. Do I have SP? Did I get space? I don't think I got space yet. Stir function. I don't think I got either. Function. Function, which I need. We can get all of these things. I might not need all of those things. So definitely at least need the space. And I think I have everything there too. So now we can do console.log debug func eval this. And then hope things work. No, 31 is not defined. Easy enough. Nice. Nice. Okay, very good. So that, wait, hold on. So we do actually get an eval, but we aren't getting anything from it. Because we need to call this, right? Okay. Arguments is not defined. Okay, is this even possible? If we aren't able to get arguments out here, then... Ooh. I need to figure out how eval works. To new string to eval eval 4. How do you get arguments? How does this get arguments? That's a good question. Arguments. Because it must be able to do that. Maybe it doesn't have to. Unexpected eval arguments in strict mode. That's fine. Eval is a function property on a global object. The arguments of the eval function is a string and will evaluate the source string as a script body, which means both statements and expressions are allowed. It returns the completion value of the code for expressions. It's the value the expression value is true. Many statements and declarations have completion values as well, but the result may be surprising. For example, the completion value of an assignment is the assigned value, but the completion value of let is undefined, so it's recommended not to rely on statements' completion values. In strict modes, declaring a variable named eval or reassigning eval is a syntax error. That's fine. If the argument of eval is not a trusted script or string, eval returns the argument unchanged. In the following example, passing a string object instead of the primitive causes eval to return the string object rather than evaluating the string. Okay. Work around the issue in a generic fashion. You can force the argument to a string itself before passing it to eval. Sure. Direct and indirect. Direct eval and indirect. Direct eval, as the name implies, refers to directly calling the global eval function with eval. Everything else invoking it via an alias variable, via a member access or other expression, or through the optional chaining, that is indirect. Can I call eval with an eval? I hope I can. Stir eval. Because we might have to do a nested eval here. Actually, I don't think this is going to work. Because it can't see arguments anyway. Because it's an indirect eval. Directly calling... Indirect eval can be seen as if the code evaluated is within a separate script tag, which is what we're getting at here. Indirect eval works within global scope rather than local scope. For optional chaining, comma operator direct call. Can we do directly calling the global eval function? I think what I need is a globalThis. I need to get the globalThis. So I need a... Oh, actually, hold on. Because I think we can do... Can we eval this? We get the global object. And we have all the letters we need for this. This might work. Object globalThis is going to be this. We don't actually need to say globalThis because this is effectively the global object anyway. So that's fine. Which means then we can do object global at stir eval. We can call this. And we should be able to get we're just gonna take this. I already wrote it out. Const obj arguments is equal to this, and I'm hoping that this actually works. We can do console log arguments, and this should hopefully be the same. Eval, haha. Well, that's apparently wrong. 37, 17, so I didn't need 17. Arguments is not defined. Even though this is direct, apparently this is not a direct because it's going through property access. Is what you're saying. Well, this might actually end up being impossible, then I can't do that. Yeah, this is indirect. I was hoping we can use eval on that, but I don't think that's possible then if it's directly calling the global eval function. Because we need a way to forward the arguments. Unless indirect eval works in global scope rather than local scope, and the code being evaluated doesn't have access to local variables within the scope of being called. It doesn't have access to arguments. It does not inherit the strictness of the surrounding context, only in strict modes. If you have used strict. On the other hand, direct eval inherits the strictness of the invoking context. Bar declared variables, functional declarations will go into the surrounding scope if the source string is not interpreted in strict mode. For indirect eval, they become global variables. Hmm. I think there's another way we might be able to get this, because I think functions have instance properties. Avoid using this feature. Well, that's fine, actually. The arguments property of functions is deprecated. The recommended way is to access the arguments object to refer to the variable arguments within functions. And non-standard. So it would have been the function name dot arguments, except we can't use the function name because we can't actually access the thing. G.arguments. Not part of any standard except it's implemented by all the browsers. The arguments object is an array-like object accessible in functions that contains value of the arguments passed to that function, except we don't have access to this. Yeah, normally you use rest parameters in modern code if you have access to those, but we don't have those. Arguments objects useful for functions is called with more arguments than they are permanently declared to accept, such as math.min. Find indices. Oh yeah, things get a little bit weird if you start assigning to the arguments object. Not ready to use strict directive in the body of a function definition that accepts rest default or destructure parameters. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Arguments.callee, arguments.length, arguments.iterator. Oh, they have iterators now. Yeah, that's new. Alright, well I think this, as written, might actually be impossible. Because there is no way for us to access arguments with that. So we may just end up having to... We may end up having to fall back to not this. Which is fine. Yeah, because I don't think there's a way to get Hold on. Get arguments from indirect eval. I think this might be impossible. But... being in a function constructor. Well, we don't have access to arguments. We have access to arguments if we're inside the function, but it wouldn't be the same arguments as the outside function. I don't think this is... I'm a little bit confused as how this does it then, if it even does this. It might not need to. The global will return this, that's fine, that's what we do here. Fill in the missing digits. Well, that's easy. Replace the map. Number replacer. Digit replacer. Replace the strings, find missing. Mapping replacer. Escape sequence. Oh, that's right, we have escape sequences. Oh, wait a minute, we could have just done that, couldn't we? Escape sequence for replace. Encode. New regular expression. Input.replace. Wrap with eval. We have this the constructor, we have return eval. Return eval, that's not a thing. As long as you're not within a function, the return eval is fine. You just get an eval out of it. But okay, yeah, I don't know. I think this might actually be impossible if we need to do it within a function like this, because we can't get arguments. We only have an indirect eval, and we can't do a direct eval. Okay. In that case, we fall back to not having that. A little bit unfortunate, but what can you do if it's impossible? So I want to turn this into. I want to see if we can do. So we have a couple options. We're gonna look at the FizzBuzz code. That we wrote here a very long time ago. I don't know if I want to do this one though. Because the easy way to do it would be to do for let's I equals n0, I is less than n20, I plus plus, and then you do this whole thing. Well, that's kind of boring. We can instead do array.from do array? What's it? Yeah, array.from is what it was. You can do array.from and an object with length 20. For the mapper function, there's going to be function function arguments 1, 1, 2, 2. So this is going to be something like n equals arguments 2. And it's going to be n. And I kind of, is there just a single way to do this? Or what other course coding thing do we have? We have no parentheses. We did FizzBuzz for no parentheses. We did it this way. Oh, there's another one. The no statements one source, and we did FizzBuzz for this one. Filter boolean. Join. Wait. I'm actually a little bit tempted to do that. To do it this way, this is a little bit, is an interesting way of doing it. I have object horror, which we didn't do FizzBuzz for. And then there's this mess. Which I don't think is worth looking at because there's too much stuff in here anyway. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Why didn't I use a bunch of why didn't I use libraries for this? Because this should have been a library. Okay, whatever. So it's gonna be n arguments plus 1. I really want to do this. This feels like a lot of effort for a little gain. We are only about 2.5 hours in though. We do the no statements version because I kind of like this. We also don't really need to do that. Okay, so then in FizzBuzz you can do it this way, or there is another way you can do it where you have a string equal to empty string. If n is multiple of 3, then s plus equals fizz. If n is equal as a multiple of 5, then s plus equals buzz. If s is still an empty string, then it becomes s equals n. So that's what that would be. The short way of doing it. If you don't do this. S is equal to n or 15. So if I do n is a multiple of 15 is equal to 0, then we do FizzBuzz. Otherwise, we do n's multiple of 3. We do fizz. I want to try to get this. Okay, so we're basically golfing this at this point. Which means if we were to golf this, it would be this, 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 do that, s plus equals fizz, and to 5. S plus equals buzz. And then S not s, s or s plus equals n. That's essentially what we have here. So we have s is the empty string. If n is divisible by 3, we add fizz. If n is divisible by 5, we additionally add buzz. If s, then we either return s or we have s plus equals n. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is that the return value of that? Oh, it is. Okay, very good. Okay, so then we can actually just do that, and this just ends up being the return value for that. So that's fine. And then this can just be a single expression where it's this. Man, that's kind of cursed. But okay. N is equal to arguments 2. Arguments 2 plus 1. I still need a return though. Okay, so I guess we do a return. Then we return this. That is the code that we're looking at. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this should result in eval left-hand side in assignments. Which one? This one. I need parentheses. Not that one. Do I need a var here? Or let's or whatever? Do I need to turn this into wrap these in parentheses? I probably do. Yeah, there it is. That's wrong. That's wrong because... Why doesn't that work? Man, why am I troubleshooting FizzBuzz? It's arguments 1, not 2. There we go. 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, fizz, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. That's what you want. So now we just have to write this out in code, which kind of sucks. Can we get, do we have to use arguments inside the body? Or can we do, oh, no we don't. No we don't. We can have that. We have one argument. We can get the name of the argument, so we don't have to do arguments 1. We can do n. And then we can do n plus equals 1, because we can do that. We don't care about this one. So we can literally put any string here as long as we aren't going to be using it. So that's actually fine, and I think we actually end up with S. But that's fine, we can just throw that away. This does not look correct. 1, 2, 3... Oh, no, this is correct. Because this is all the 3. This is all, yeah, this is all formatted by 3. Yeah, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're working towards. Now I just gotta build that. I am not looking forward to this. Okay, so what are we missing here? We can get an array. Array is easy. Because we can get an array from... What do we even have here? Do I have a capital A? I don't think we have capital A. So an object array from function return plus sp plus L brackets plus R brackets. So now we have an array here. And from there we can do obj array constructor. Const func array to object array constructor. So that gets us the constructor function for the array, which is a capital array. So now we can do array.from. Obj length 20 is equal to, we have an object here somewhere. Or we made an object somewhere. Maybe not in here. I guess we didn't do it in here. So it's going to be easier to make this, to create an object in length 20 through this. Or we don't do that, and just use the array constructor. Because we now have an array. Actually, hold on, I think that won't work. Array.from array 20 dot array 20 dot map item and pin. So okay, that's what I thought for this one. But if we do array.from array 20, Then we get that. Organu.fill might be a little bit easier. Because we have an I, we have an L. Yeah, I think we can just do this. Right in 20, fill F I L L M A P. We don't have a P. We don't have a P, we can make one. Because it's easy to make one here, but why do that when we can just do it from? Do we have an F? We have an F. We can get one from undefined. Const F is equals to undefined, and 0 1 2 3 4 5 1 0 1 2 3 4. We have an F already. We could have gotten it from undefined, but we got it from function. So that's fine. Fill. Do I have an R? Well, yeah, we do, because we got it from string. Array.from, array.20. This makes it so that we don't have to get a P. Even though it would be pretty easy to get a P, because now that we have toString. But sure, whatever. And then we can give it a function, which is going to be this. We have a small problem. We need to... Man, I don't want to write this out. I do not want to write this out. We may as well just get it from car code and then just do everything here. Alright, whatever. That works fine too. We have an S, we have an N. S is equal to the empty string. We do that. Everything is FizzBuzz. S. Alright, well, we may as well just start writing. But I think we do need from car code. Or we use B to A and get things more easily. We're gonna get this from car code instead. Okay, because this is at least more direct. So this is where we get our capital letters from. Do I have capital C? Unfortunately, capital C comes from V2A. I hate that we have to use this, but I think we do, because otherwise we have no way of getting the capital C. Apart from the other trick that we had, encode URI or evaluate, or what was it? Escape. I don't want to use escape. So from car code we have I need a capital F and I need a capital B. We have a capital F from function actually. But we do need it for these characters, I think. We need it for... Then we need it for the bar, we need it for the modulus, we need it for the equals sign. Well, we don't need it for the equal sign because we have bta to get us the equal sign. We definitely need it for the punctuation, I think, the symbols. Okay. Well, we can get the F and the B from elsewhere, so we can. I think I'd rather do that. Okay, so function, we have capital F is equal to function plus string. We have it from here actually. Const F is equal to function n9. Const B is equal to func boolean, which we don't have yet. A true constructor cluster string. And 9, we get a B there, and we get I and Z from places. And we already have a Z's. On Z, or sorry, we already have an I, we need a Z here. And 36 to string. And 35 dot to string 36. Yeah. Do I have a U? Yes, I have a U from undefined. This actually needs to go all the way down there. From array 20 function sn. And then we have const plus is equal to func from car code plus equals this. Is that it? We need this too. Yeah, I think that's right. Everything else is covered. Dot barcode at 0, 1, the 0, maybe 43 and 43. Const equals is equal to func from car code. 61 constant bar is equal to podcast codes 124. And we're gonna have to make all these numbers. N37. We might already have N37. We do not have N37. That's pretty easy to get. This is plus N1. We have 43. We do not have 43. That's going to be 43 and 10 times 4 plus 3. $61. Gonna be 10 times 6 plus 1. And then 124 is going to be n times 10. I'm going to make it n 100s. So I can do n 100 here, plus 1. And n 100 here. Plus, do I have 24? I have 22. And I can do 22. Close enough. Now I have all the numbers there, and then we can just write out this function. This is going to be pretty painful. But we can make it a little bit easier by doing this. Slightly easier. And one, I don't have a semicolon. $59. $59. Okay, semicolon. return L paren equals. I need a single quote. Gonna be 39. I have 39. Okay, 37. 39. Gonna be times 3 or plus 3. Yep. I have a feeling I might have missed something. Plus equals plus FizzBuzz plus r paren comma. This is percent bar all paren plus equals. I could have done search and replace, but it's fine. We use zeds. Actually, I think we should have. Then we have a pos r paren comma bar. Do that again. All paren plus equals r paren and then r paren. I don't think I actually need the outer set of parentheses, but doesn't matter. Because then what we can do is we can do a plus this stuff and then just do that. FizzBuzz single body is that. Okay, so then we have that. Now we have an array. Now I have an array of stuff, and then we just need to print it. We already have a console log. Or rather, we know how to make a console log. Stir console, stir log. Is this? Donate this. Actually, it might be useful to have that anyway. We have that, point console, stir log, and then we have inside of here. Do I have join? I don't think I have a J. We can make a J. C, 36. I think. Might be 19. It is 19, okay. I know this because J is the 10th letter of the alphabet, and then you do the -1. Because it all starts at 0. A is 10. That's effectively 0 as well. So you have a console, you have log, then you have console log here. Then you need a dot join. Const array FizzBuzz. That. Array FizzBuzz join. Then we have an LF for the new line. This is going to be N. I actually don't remember. Is it 10? Yeah, it's 10. Okay. I think that might just do it. And of course there's an error. Okay, what do we have here? Const h has already been declared because we already used it somewhere. This is not h, this is j. And 19 is not defined. That's easy, we can do that. And 35 is not defined. That's also easy, we can just do that. Cannot access N35 before initialization. 34. Object is not defined. I thought I had gotten that. Where is this? Comma is not defined. Undefined us. Okay. Something is definitely wrong here, but it is looking like it's working-ish. So whatever our B was supposed to be is not actually here. I don't think we created a B. Right, we were supposed to get it from Boolean. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. True.constructor. Then I need to make this plus string a string. And that is FizzBuzz. Alright. 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, fizz, 7, 8, fizz, buzz, 11, fizz, 13, 14, fizz, buzz, 16, 17, fizz, 19, buzz. That is it. That is it. It's too bad we didn't get the the arguments thing working, because that would have been good to have. But there it is. There's this massive function here. Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, okay. Well, you kind of get a taste of what this is like. Maybe sometime we actually end up writing this, but this is kind of boring compared to the stuff that we're doing, because this is already kind of established. But nobody does this stuff. Anyway, that's a nice exploration of the language. We start from literally nothing, which we get undefined from, and then we get all this stuff, and we get FizzBuzz. And we don't even have to use any loops or anything like that, so this is good. And then what you do is you combine this with the no parentheses. The no parentheses. And then you get something even more cursed. Because then you end up with all these calls here. And then you do this. You get the console log. Actually, no, you don't get the console log. That's the thing that you call. But then you do this. yeah, it's. I think we'll say that is left as an exercise to the reader. Oh, we did it. I think I'm okay with this. We're gonna go ahead and commit this. Something from nothing. Add FizzBuzz. Alright, we can go ahead and git tag. Today is 2026-08-12, and then the ID is this. Git push origin main, and then the new tag we made. You can now go look at that. Git tag, git push origin main 2026, so that. You can now go look at that in the repo if you would like to. That is over here. Yeah. Yeah, if you would like to do that, your own challenge for that, see if you can do it in a different way or do some other challenges, I encourage you to try, and then you can post it in the Discord. For those of you who aren't already in there, we do have a Discord, we do have a channel for programming, this would be under there. Next stream, I forgot to load in the thumbnail for, so one moment. Next stream, we're going to go back to a game that we played about a month after debut, and then hadn't played it since. Alright, we're playing Penbu, which, if you know about Lemmings, the old computer game, it's like Lemmings but with penguins, and it's open source. So we'll be doing some of that tomorrow. Hopefully it's a little bit less whatever this is. That's whatever it is that we did here today. It might still be a bit tiring, but we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be on tomorrow. And then Friday we're going to be doing some more music arrangements. For those of you here, my name is Penbu, and the programming, puzzle gaming, music making vtuber on Linux. We did programming today, starting with nothing, and then doing both Hello World and FizzBuzz. Quite the adventure. Alright, I think that's about it. Yes. Trying to remember if there's anything else. Probably isn't anything else. Twitch, we're gonna find some rates, so stick around. YouTube, the person I find is dual streaming. We'll also send you over there, but otherwise, I'll leave it at that. Yes, I should be less busy from here on out, hopefully, so we should be more consistent with streams again. Oh, yes. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, we did do a new release, new music release on Monday, earlier this week. It was a duet, piano and violin duet with G Altair, who is now on extended hiatus for probably about a year, give or take. She is going on to pursue certain other things at the moment. But she says she will be back, so well, I'm sure it won't take it. I'm sure it'll be no time before she's back. Okay. But yeah, for that piece, some of you may remember that was from 2024, so it's been a long time coming. Yes, okay. I think we're gonna leave it there. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next time. Remember, stick around for the raids, and good night. Bye. Alright. Twitch, I think I found someone. Never seen them before, but they are part of the Green Circle group, which is Clonk's group, so I'm sure they're probably fine. Gotta make sure that she has... or she doesn't have YouTube. I think. Okay, so YouTube, I think we're gonna call it there. Thank you again for coming, and see you next time. Good night. Twitch, we're going to raid... how do I say this? Maybe you have a guide here somewhere. Erza? Or Erza the Witch. Currently making a 3D platformer. In her tags there's TypeScript, so if we come in and she asks what we're doing, I think she'll understand the struggles that we went through. So there is the raid. This is the raid message. You can go ahead and copy that, paste it in when we get there. And enjoy the game dev. Okay, I think I'll call it there. Thanks again for coming, and good night. See you next time. Bye.